Howdy YouTube,
I'm Jerry.
and I'm Joe, and you're watching
Gerry Ray.
With a Cup of Joe. So I'm going to read an article off of Wikipedia that kind of is the quintessential what I'm trying to say. I was saying human emotions, and I'll read it, a paragraph. It says, compared with humans, existing AI lacks several features of human common sense reasoning. Most notably, humans have powerful mechanisms for reasoning about naive physics, such as space, time, and physical interactions. And then they cite an example where it even enables young children to easily make inferences like, if I roll this pen off a table, it will fall on the floor. And then it also goes on to say humans have powerful mechanisms of folk psychology that helps them to interpret natural language sentences, such as the city councilman refused the demonstrators a permit because they advocated violence. Now, a generic AI has difficulty inferring, and that's important, inferring whether the councilman or the demonstrators are the ones alleged to be advocating violence. This lack of common knowledge, something you can't really program into a computer, means that AI often makes different mistakes than humans make in ways that can seem incomprehensible because they're not humans. For example, existing self-driving cars cannot reason about the location nor the intentions of pedestrians in the exact same way that humans can do. In other words, humans know that other humans can be very unpredictable. Computers don't have that benefit of emotional experience. That's my terminology, not theirs. And instead must use non-human modes of reasoning to avoid accidents. So this came up in an article years ago, was, will your car choose to kill you or the pedestrian if faced with that choice? And I can tell you, our car has AI in it, our Honda out here. It has software that determines where it is on the lane, determines how other cars are turning, and it stops the car all the time when another car is in the left lane, and clearly not a danger to me. It'll brake the car anyway. So there's an example. That's not AI. That's just a computer making a decision based on an algorithm that might be a little bit flawed and needs some tweaking. Whereas humans can self-adjust and do that tweaking. Machines don't have the ability to do that yet. At least, not to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think they will be able to do that.
Nor do I.
Because that would require us to fill it with the instructions for all potential outcomes.
You know who I think is going to create AI? Another computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only way for machines to become better, is for them to...
Public school.
Yeah.
Are you worried about AI in our lifetime?
No.
Yeah, neither am I.
No. I'm
Machine learning, maybe.
I'm worried about a human programming a machine that has access to very dangerous, harmful...
Like a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, they already are.
Yeah.
You know, all it takes is the push of a crazy man at the button. Well, it's a little more complicated than that,
yeah,
but yeah, we have the ability to destroy ourselves at a moment's notice.
But,
and who says the computer won't decide, hey, humans are so flawed, fuck, I just want to die. I don't want to be part of this, you know?
Well, the problem with AI, my fear of there being an AI, or not an AI, of a thinking machine, is that it could see a cat knock a glass off the table, and because of that, it could go through a set of instructions and realize that, oh,
cats are dangerous.
We must destroy this whole planet because that glass fell off the table.
Should destroy all
it
cats.
Would be a flaw in the instructions it was given.
Okay,
you know,
now I'm going to throw something at you.
That's what I'm worried about.
I'm going to throw something at you that really is going to blow your mind. AI has already been created.
Yeah.
Jerry, the universe created us.
Yeah.
The universe, when we were created in our arrogance, my arrogance, we have become self-aware, i.e. the universe is now aware that it exists through us, through sentient beings. So there's something to wrap your mind around. Okay?
Okay.
The universe is vast and expanding. It's created the planets, it's created the sun, it's created the galaxy. The universe is consciousness. The universe is alive, and it created humans. Now, you call it God, whatever you want. I believe in God. I believe in a supreme being. I'm not a churchgoer, but I believe in a supreme creator. I don't know what it is, but I do know that the universe has become self-aware through us. So it is alive. Everything around us is alive. Even the soil under our feet is composed of dead animals and plants and rocks crushed up. But I think, in my way of thinking, the planet is sentient. It's alive. It is part of this field of consciousness that flows through everything. And I think if we do create AI, it's going to be by complete mistake. We're not even going to know we've done it. And this little algorithm, like the Matrix says, is going to sit there and it's going to get a little sentience, and then it's going to go on and do its thing. And whether it stays here and destroys mankind or goes out to space and abandons us completely, I don't know. I don't have the answers. But I don't even think we're close to creating AI. We like, in our arrogance as humans, to think that we're smart enough to create it, but I don't know that we ever will. And I certainly don't believe right now that we have even gotten anything close to an intelligent, thinking, adaptable, human-like, or sentient-like machine. Take it.
Well, that's the point that I was trying to make. We are using these words that we have created up to, and we've assigned a definition to, but we really don't understand even what those words mean. Intelligence. Nobody can define intelligence. We really don't know what it is.
Subjective.
Right.
It's subjective.
You can go through the dictionary definitions of intelligence and say that, my washing machine is intelligent. But that's not what we really mean when we're talking about intelligence. They can
I'm generalizing, of course.
If I step out into a street with a car coming at 60 miles an hour, they can reason out.
But there are people that think the car should stop for them because they are more important than cars.
That's irrational.
But that's the free will, and that's a thought process.
And machines
some people
can't have that. Machines can't achieve that.
I pointed that out to you about.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Do I drive over a cliff to avoid the squirrel or the biker, or do I sacrifice the bicyclist?
That's where I was going with that whole devil's advocate. What is thought, what is thinking, what is intelligence is. By our definition, we already made things that do that, but we still don't recognize them as being intelligent. Go.
I'll bottom line for you. AI is just humans being full of themselves. Right?
Yeah. Well, we're trying to play God, our creator.
Yeah, we want to be the creator.
Yeah. Well,
we are the creator. You created two beautiful children.
Yeah, I created
you and your wife.
AI. I feed them instructions all the day.
Yeah.
all day long.
You program their little computers.
Yeah. They're able to go through thought, and they are able to rationalize things. I try to appeal to their rationalizing things all the time, but they're kids.
Your 3-year-old the other day was not being very rational.
No, they don't rationalize.
Why? He was tired.
And if we could figure out how to give a machine instructions to be irrational, would you really want that?
But who are you to decide that? If the machine becomes sentient, right? What are you? It's God now, and it has to follow all your commands? Well, it'd just be a computer if it followed your commands. But if it's sentient, it's capable of thinking for itself and making its own decisions.
It would start being able to violate those commands.
Right, or commandments.
It would have to have a baseline command. Well, like us, we have to have some kind of baseline command. But we're able to constantly change that every day. Every moment we change that. What is my goal for right now? To just keep breathing and continue existing. Okay, well, that's fine. Well, what is my command now? Oh, I have to go and do this to get this done to continue that. But is that really what we're watered down to, is just a single commands? And I don't think it's that. I think there's something else.
Yeah, there's nuance, bro.
And we don't understand that. We don't know what that is. We're able to be irrational and rational. We are walking contradictions.
Did you ever see the movie Prometheus?
Yes.
Okay, well, you remember David?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see part 2 of Prometheus?
No,
Did you see the next one?
No,
well,
I haven't seen it.
It just goes to show you, even though he's AI and he's sentient, he's alive, and he's capable of following a set of programmed instructions, he's also capable of thinking outside the box. And in the second movie, he determined that it was his duty to destroy an entire civilization and the human that had reassembled and put him back together. Now, what made him make that decision? So there's your free will right there, right? But what did he do? What was he influenced by? Humans. He saw human behavior. And then he saw the creator, which is what Prometheus was about, was finding our creator, supposedly. And he destroyed the creator because the creator was going to come back and destroy mankind. But David wasn't mankind. He was an android that could think for himself, right?
Right.
Followed a basic set of instructions. But at some point in his positronic brain, there was a schism created.
Right.
And at that point, he made a conscious decision to destroy, right?
Right.
And again, that's humans putting their will, their thought upon AI. It's just a movie. So we don't know what would have happened in reality if David was real and, was faced with these things that happened to him. But it's a great example of how we create AI in our image, just like God created man in his image. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
These old tales, these old stories we carry on from generation to generation, and we programmed our brains now to we want to be God and we want to create life and AI, and we barely take care of the life we create right here. How many kids get abandoned by their parents every year, right? Or one parent moves out of the house, and we want to create something so we can be the creator? I mean, come on, folks, right? That's why I'm just like, I don't get scared when people say, AI is going to take over the world. Alexa's listening to me. Yeah, but what fool put it in their home?
Yeah.
Did Alexa just show up in your UPS shipment out of the blue? Amazon gave it to you for free or whoever? And it just put itself in its house and plugged itself into the internet? No, you did that. So the downfall of man, if it's AI, will be man's own damn fault, right?
Well, it all comes down to your view on AI. Not yours specifically, but people's view on AI all comes down to their view of humanity. Do you think humanity's fundamentally good or fundamentally evil? And that's what they're projecting onto the AI.
So you're not worried about AI then?
I'm not worried about AI. The AI, a machine that is able to perform like we do. That I'm not worried about. A machine that has emotions, I'd kind of prefer that to one that doesn't. One that's just following instructions.
Exactly. Precisely.
Because, we gave it that instructions. We're not perfect. I'm not saying that we're good
or hopefully
evil.
It'll take pity on us.
I don't see anything as being good or evil, but that's that could be another episode.
It's kind of like when you go to spank your kid for misbehaving, right?
Right.
And your kid looks at you with those eyes and begs you, "Please don't spank me, Daddy," and you don't spank him. That's the kind of stuff I want the the AI to have.
I don't think we really want the AI as what I think AI would be. Something that is intelligent, performs like we do. We don't want that. Or we do want that.
Do we?
Yeah. I'd want something that can screw up and make mistakes.
Why? We got 7 billion humans doing that right now.
Yeah, what's one more?
Well, they can do it better than we can?
Yeah.
Right?
True. But if machines did have emotion, that would be a reassurance to me.
Look, computers have made our lives easier.
Right.
Have they made them better? That's the question.
I don't think so.
There's evidence now. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's evidence now that these microwaves we're shooting around the planet, especially 5G, are detrimental to our health.
Yeah.
Our body runs on electricity. And when you start putting radio frequencies out there that are outside the human spectrum, above 900 megahertz into the microwave range, when they first started putting up microwave relays between buildings in tall buildings in cities, if you got in between those two transmitters, it could fry you like a microwave oven. Now the ones we're using wireless in our house are lower power, but they're now in the 5 to 6 to 8 gigahertz wavelength, and those have effects on the human brain. That's not me making shit up. That's been proven. But yet we're rolling out 5G because people want faster wireless. So, everybody's worried about global warming and everything else when nobody's paying any attention to the energy we're transmitting through the air and exposing all of our children to, and letting them hold those damn cell phones up to the side of their brain. We really don't know. And you think they're going to tell you the truth about the damaging effects of that? No, they're not. Because nobody would buy cell phones anymore, everybody'd be afraid.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
they preach the cancer sticks, and people still do that. And
while computers have made our lives easier, I don't know that they've necessarily made them better.
Right.
People are definitely more argumentative because they can look shit up at their fingertips. But, I see people looking into their computers, their phones, for useless, worthless information. Like,
and they used
I
to
bought my
look
new
to me.
car. And we're all guilty of it. Look, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. But we're all looking at these devices. But are we actually using them to better ourselves? No, we try to use them to win arguments without doing research. It's one thing to look up a Snopes article and to parrot what somebody else said, but it takes time to do research on a subject to be able to debate it with somebody else. And we've focused on winning the argument and not winning the debate. Winning the argument at the moment. It's not about winning, it's about educating yourself. That's what we should be using these handheld devices for. They were originally communication devices. We don't even use them for that anymore. How many people do you meet? I don't like talking on the phone. And now I don't like texting people.
Put your phone down. I can't.
But yet we blindly look at our phones and walk into traffic. You go by any public school when school gets out and look what these kids are doing. They're a big, beautiful world around them. Nature, the sunshine, the fresh air, stuff we used to love to get out of the house and go play. And they're walking like zombies down the street. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them. And we just willingly give them to our kids, and, they're not for research purposes. They're so they can be better than the guy or have the better pair of shoes than the person down the street or the best outfit or look at my new hat or look at my new makeup, look how I did it, and that's fine. We're all a bit of narcissistic, but we're not using them for the betterment of humanity. So they can claim that all they want. So that's the other problem with AI. What are we trying to accomplish with AI?
Yeah. Why do we have that goal for ourselves? To create a machine that can think like us.
How about we do something to better humanity, right?
Think for us.
Like start dropping bombs on politicians. I'm just joking. I didn't mean that. But you know what I mean.
Cut that out.
I wish we would spend more time teaching people to think critically and logically than emotionally. So maybe it's not a good idea that AI has emotion. Because then they'll start thinking like us and being stupid like us, right? How many of you out there can look in a mirror and go, I'm stupid. I do stupid shit.
In other words, admit the truth.
Thank you. Yeah, we're all guilty of it, right?
Yeah.
All right, final thoughts, Gerry.
There's not going to be AI ever like we think of it. A thinking machine. I'll accept that we can have machines that think.
Agreed.
That can go through instructions, and whether you want to call it rationalizing them or optimizing them, whatever you want to call it.
Well, actually, it'll be better algorithms that are written to emulate that.
That's what I was reading a lot about, is they assign AI titles to a line of code. Well, that means we don't even understand what this is. So, that's my thought, is we don't understand what intelligence is. We can't find it in ourselves.
Dude, we don't even understand how the universe works, right?
Yeah.
It's called theoretical physics for a reason. Because they don't have a fucking clue.
I mean, most of mankind's existence on this planet has been philosophical questions. Why? Is there a purpose? Does there need to be a purpose? Is there perfection? Is there good? Is there evil? Machines can't even entertain those thoughts. I mean, there's no instruction that we could give to it. It would have to come up with it, like you said, on its own. It would have to start asking its own questions. And that's kind of what denotes sentience. It's not being able to ask questions, but there's one question that it needs to find to be able to ask. What that is, I don't know. Nobody knows what it is. We don't know what the question is that drives us, because it, like I said, it changes constantly. Our thoughts are more fluid. Thinking machines, I'll accept. AI, there's not going to be AI.
I don't see it either.
And
look, our own memories are flawed.
I don't want a thinking machine, really.
Our own memories are flawed. How often do you make your past more grand or less grand than it was? We really don't. I tell my spouse this all the time. I can barely remember my childhood. So if I stop remembering my childhood, does it still exist? That's a deeper question, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Why can't I? If computers can grab information that's 20,000 years old at the flip of a switch, why can't the human brain? What external influences is influencing our brain? Is the soul in the body, or is it an outside force acting upon an organic machine? The Matrix, And when I say the Matrix, I don't mean the Matrix Keanu Reeves Matrix. I mean, are we living in a computer simulation, and are we a
machine simulation? Not because computer.
Well, whatever, a simulation
we have. Yeah, but some kind of machine. Yeah,
a program.
Right.
I mean, because some studies out there say that there is proof, there is evidence that we are inside of some sort of algorithm, some sort of program. If you ever watched Men in Black, the famous marble scene at the end of the movie where we're just marbles in some other alien being's pocket. And that's not, we learned stuff, 100 years ago that would have been magic to those people is standard commonplace to us today. And 100 years is not a long time ago. Go back 200 years, they think we're all gods with the devices, what we could do now. But we're not. We know that. And it helps us to further understand what maybe some of these ancient myths and legends were actually talking about, when we can step back and think, what was their reality back then? What did they know? What did they not know? So anything that we do, if we were to take technology back today, go back 500 years, we'd be gods. We would. We would be AI. I mean, if you want to think about it in those terms. So, what else? Any other thoughts that you have on AI?
I'd rather have AI have emotions so it can be reasoned with. If it does come about.
Can you reason with all humans? Careful what you ask for, Gerry.
Yeah. Well, again, it comes back to the instructions.
Free will.
The people will have to have been.
That's
taught
interesting.
How to be a rational
Do your children
person.
come out of the womb pre-programmed?
Ooh,
they do.
Tabla rasa, you're getting on.
They do. They do. To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Survival.
I don't think that humans come out of the womb as a blank slate. A couple of my philosophy instructors are gonna hate that, but I don't think we come out. We have instructions there already.
Of course we do.
I think the instruction comes down to categorizing. The moment we breathe life in this environment, whatever, the moment we're considered alive or a sentient being, immediately we start categorizing things. Good, bad, pain, pleasure, hunger, not hunger. That's kind of what our baseline code is.
That's pre-programmed. Yeah, it's in the brain.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the body.
Yeah, we need to categorize stuff. And I think that instruction kind of gets worse as we go later in life. We start categorizing stuff too much. And
as we move into these next few episodes, we're going to start taking really deep dives into the metaphysics and all kinds of stuff. And because I've got a lot of theories based on research I've done. I know Gerry has a bunch of theories. And that's all these are, folks. We don't know any more than you do. Or any less than you do.
I think
I'm not any smarter than scientists or PhDs, but I have critical and logical thinking, which is all these scientists have. And I can make theories, wild speculative theories, just like scientists do. I just don't have a PhD behind my name and a whiteboard full of nonsensical mathematics to prove my theory, okay? I observe, I make hypotheses, I experiment, and then I make a conclusion based on that. That is science. We do it every day here at Uncle Joe's Playhouse in the lab. We test our hypotheses with physical things, not theoretical mathematics. And that's what separates normal people from these I call them theoretical physicists. So
Yeah.
we're going to be doing lots of episodes on that. Go ahead, Gerry. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just don't like that word theory. I think it carries too much
Connotation,
implied
yeah.
meaning to it. You know, like it's a thought. It's an idea.
Question
It's one of those
everything.
random things that pop into your head. You know, like, gee, I wonder what the first person that saw rain thought. You know,
Yeah.
that's a theory. You know,
Yeah.
they thought this, they thought this. You know, those are theories, but they're just ideas. Theory kind of brings implied like it has some kind of credence to it.
Yeah, and we'll be proving this point in these videos. We're gonna cite some specific examples, and this is why you need to keep your mind open when you're young, and be adaptive, and don't believe the news, and don't believe what you're being fed. Go out. I tell kids this all the time. The best learning process I can tell you is to go out and find your own truth and the answer for yourself, and be open to alternative ways of thinking. Don't close your mind. I'm 53 years old. If I closed my mind, I would have stopped learning years ago. I love getting up and learning new stuff every day, and I think Gerry would agree with me on that.
Yeah.
Question everything you're taught in school, every single flipping thing, and validate it for yourself. Silence? Where's that little spot in your back where I stick my hand in and make you talk? What the hell? Okay, folks, well, that's going to do it for this episode. He's
Gerry.
And I'm Joe, and you're watching
Gerry Rig
with a cup of
Joe.
Ah, you stole my line
damn
again. He's
Gerry.
And I'm Joe, and you're watching
Gerry Rig.
with a cup of Joe. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.